Round 26 of the Premier League. The Red Devils arrived at the London Stadium full of momentum after a run of 4 consecutive victories. Their dual objective was clear: to strengthen their position in the top 4 and, perhaps more importantly, to secure a 5th straight win for the first time in nearly 2 years, a result that would finally allow loyal fan Frank Ilott to escape his caveman era and cut his hair after nearly 500 stubborn days. Manchester United had every reason to be confident despite playing away from home against West Ham. The Red Devils had been producing a series of solid performances, while the Hammers were struggling near the bottom of the table, even when the hosts jokingly delighted fans with a poster implying, "No haircuts today. Please come back later." The visitors could still afford to be relaxed, in the spirit of if Adama Traoré isn't helping, then Carrick will bring the clippers himself. Yet before the final whistle, United supporters remained cautious of the worst-case scenario. West Ham were fully fired up. If the counter were to reset now, no one knew how long Frank would have to wait before his long-awaited haircut. Perhaps, right at the gates of paradise, United, and Frank, would land on the dreaded, miss a turn, square. With fate cruelly choosing exactly that outcome. The 90 minutes at the London Stadium did not witness a collapse. But they did deliver a bitter tasting draw for those waiting for the historic moment of Frank's Clippers. Benjamin Sesko played the hero, rescuing a point in the dying seconds. But that single point was not enough to keep the winning streak alive. Frank Illott's counter officially returned to 0, football in its rawest, most ironic form. At times, football is a dull tactical chess match before erupting into an emotional storm. The first half at the London Stadium was a perfect example. Michael Carrick, widely praised for his 4 consecutive wins, opted for a cautious approach. He understood that West Ham, locked in a relegation battle, were like a wounded animal, dangerous and unpredictable. Throughout the opening 45 minutes, Manchester United dominated possession, 61% to 39%, but lacked the sharpness required in the final third. Bruno Fernandes, the team's conductor, attempted to create breakthroughs with incisive passes between the lines, only to be met by a compact defensive system organized by Nuno Espirito Santo. West Ham played brutally pragmatic football, sitting deep, surrendering territory, and waiting for mistakes. The first half expected goals told the story: West Ham 0.05. Manchester United 0.23. Numbers that screamed stalemate. There were no sustained waves of pressure. No thunderous long-range efforts from Cunha or Casemiro. Instead, the match was defined by scrappy duels in midfield, where Kobbie Mainoo and Tomas Souček clashed repeatedly like gladiators. Still, within the monotony, signs of defensive fragility emerged for United. Harry Maguire, despite his committed performance, produced moments that made supporters' hearts race. In the 32nd minute, a sprint duel with Somerville forced the English centre-back to clutch his hamstring. Although he continued playing, the image felt like an ominous warning about United's vulnerability against West Ham's pace on the wings. Watching from Spain, Frank Ilott likely endured a first half that felt like an eternity. He saw no trace of a team surging toward a 5th straight win, only caution, hesitation, and a hint of anxiety in the eyes of the men in white. Sadly, that anxiety became reality early in the second half. Disaster struck just 4 minutes after the restart. In the 49th minute, from what seemed like a harmless long ball forward, an individual error crept in. Luke Shaw, the most experienced defender in United's backline, hesitated. He allowed the ball to bounce and lost the physical duel with Jared Bowen. Bowen's determination was commendable, refusing to give up. He stretched to feed Tomas Souček. The Czech midfielder, with a striker's instinct, ghosted intelligently into the space between Lisandro Martinez and Kobbie Mainoo before delicately lifting the ball through the legs of goalkeeper Sen Lammens. 1-0 to West Ham. The London Stadium erupted as "I'm forever blowing bubbles" echoed proudly. But for Manchester United supporters, especially Frank Ilott, it was a thunderbolt threatening to shatter a precious winning run. The haircut plan was on the brink of collapse. The goal exposed a familiar issue for United: lapses in concentration at critical moments. They had controlled the first half, only to concede early in the second from a simple long ball. Lammens, who had been excellent in recent matches, could do nothing when unsighted and facing a close-range finish. After conceding, United pushed forward, but impatience crept in. Bruno Fernandes sent free kicks straight into the wall. Diogo Dalot was booked for stopping a counter-attack. With the lead, West Ham doubled down on the defensive counter-attacking approach. Somerville and Bowen repeatedly targeted the flanks, creating wave after wave of danger in front of Lamon's goal. If anything is more cruel than falling behind, it is believing you have equalized, only to have joy snatched away. United experienced that agony in the 63rd minute. Kobbie Mainoo's cross found Casemiro, who powered a superb glancing header past Alphonse Areola. The net rippled. Celebrations were ready. Frank Ilott may well have jumped to his feet, roaring in delight as hope surged once more. But VAR intervened. Cold, emotionless lines appeared on the screen. Casemiro was offside, not by meters, but by millimeters. His knee had edged ahead of the defender's heel. The goal was ruled out. The score remained 1-0. It was a heavy psychological blow. United had done everything right, only to be denied by technology. A sense of helplessness spread. On the touchline, Carrick stood deep in thought, knowing time was running out and West Ham's defensive wall was growing ever thicker. With the stalemate deepening, Carrick was forced to gamble. In the 68th minute, he withdrew Harry Maguire and Matheus Cunha, introducing Lenny Yoro and Benjamin Sesko. Later, Joshua Zirkzee replaced Dalot in the 82nd minute. United shifted into an ultra-attacking setup, throwing everything forward in search of an equalizer. West Ham, however, were no amateurs. They responded with tactical substitutions, flooding the pitch with defenders. Time wasting, tactical fouls, and constant interruptions were executed ruthlessly. As the clock ticked down, Frank Illott's hope drained away second by second. 7 minutes of stoppage time were announced, 7 minutes for a miracle, or 7 minutes for total heartbreak. United attacked desperately. In the 94th minute, Bruno Fernandes delivered a high ball. Zirkzee rose to meet it, but his header drifted inches wide. A collective groan echoed from the away end. Football, though, always reserves its drama for the very last moment. In the 96th minute, Ryan Mbeumo, one of the signings of the season, stepped up. Receiving the ball on the right, he glanced up and whipped in a low, vicious cross. Benjamin Sesko timed his run perfectly, darting across the near post and guiding the ball into the far corner with a delicate touch. 1-1 for Manchester United. Pandemonium. United players rushed to retrieve the ball, desperate to chase a winner. Carrick punched the air on the touchline. A point had been snatched from the jaws of defeat. Sesko, once again questioned, proved his worth, just as he had against Fulham. Yet amid the euphoria, a harsh truth remained. The final whistle blew moments later. The match ended 1-1. United did not lose. Their unbeaten run extended to 5 matches. But the winning streak ended at 4. Frank Illott's condition was 5 consecutive wins, not 5 unbeaten matches. Sesko's goal spared United humiliation, but it could not save Frank's hair. It was a painkiller, easing the hurt temporarily, but not healing the wound. When the whistle sounded, United fans felt a strange mix of relief and disappointment. Relief at avoiding defeat, frustration at missing a historic moment. For Frank Ilott, it was the collapse of a dream right at the gates of paradise. From a technical perspective, the 1-1 draw was not a disaster. United stayed in the top 4, showed fighting spirit until the final seconds, and saw promising integration from Sesko and Mbeumo. The defense, despite its mistake, held firm under pressure. Emotionally, however, it was a low point. Football's beauty lies not only in trophies, but in the stories that bind millions of hearts together. Frank Illott's story created a unique connection between club and supporters. Failing to reach the 5-win milestone loosened that bond, leaving behind a lingering sense of regret. Manchester United did not win. Frank Ilott did not cut his hair. But life goes on, and football keeps rolling. The counter resets to 0. Frank will continue growing his hair, continue waiting, and continue hoping. And perhaps, just perhaps, this long, painful wait will make the moment of victory, if and when it finally arrives, all the sweeter and more explosive than ever.